Okay, let's do a couple of the homework problems. Now for each, you're instructed to write a balanced equation and to show all work, including proper setups, sig figs, and units. Box your answers. Okay, the first problem, let's copy the chemical equation we're given. Now notice phases are not needed, not shown or needed. So bromine reacts with sodium iodide to produce sodium bromide and iodine. The first problem to solve: how many moles of sodium bromide can be produced from 0.172 moles of bromine? Now remember the little flowchart that we used in our notes. All you need to do is to look to see what you're given and what you want. In this case, you're given the number of moles of one substance and you're asked for the number of moles of another substance. So that's just a one-step conversion using the mole ratio from the balanced chemical equation. So as always, we start by writing down the value we're given. We're told that we have 0.172 moles of bromine. And we want to know how many moles of iodine, how many moles of sodium bromide we'll be able to make. So we simply look at the mole ratio from the chemical equation. We want bromine to cancel out, so that will go in the denominator of our conversion factor. 1 mole of bromine is needed to produce 2 moles of sodium bromide. And that's all we need. Moles of bromine cancel out. And so 0.172 times 2 gives us 0.344 moles of sodium bromide. Now remember, in these problems, you're given the answer. So the answer is right there. So if you're not getting the answer given here, of course, you've made a mistake somewhere. Okay, now, students often get messed up bringing in conversion factors that aren't needed, like, for example, in this, bringing in mass. Well, when you look at the little flowchart, you can see that mass is not needed. Going from moles of one substance to moles of another substance, we use the mole ratio from the chemical equation. So the only time we need mass is when we're going from mass to moles of one substance or moles to mass of another substance. Next question. How many grams of sodium iodide are needed to produce 28.2 grams of iodine? Okay, so on our little flowchart, this is going to be going from mass of one substance to mass of another substance. So this is referred to as a mass-mass calculation. So we're going to need 3 separate conversion factors to do this. So as always, we start with the number we're given. We're told that we have 28.2 grams of iodine. So the first step will be to convert to moles. 1 mole of iodine has the mass of 253.80 grams. So we're simply using the periodic table to calculate the molar mass of 1 mole of the iodine. Now remember, it's iodine I2, so we need to take the molar mass, or the atomic mass of iodine, and multiply it by 2. Okay, so grams of iodine cancel. Put iodine there. Now the next step is using the mole ratio from the balanced chemical equation. We're interested in moles of sodium iodide. So 2 moles of sodium iodide per 1 mole of iodine. So 1 mole of iodine in the denominator here. So that moles of iodine will cancel out. We'll need 2 moles of sodium iodide. Okay, again, we're simply looking at the balanced chemical equation. 2 moles of sodium iodide per 1 mole of iodine. And then the next is to convert the moles of sodium iodide into grams of sodium iodide. So that is this step here, moles to mass, molar mass of sodium iodide is 149.89 grams per 1 mole of sodium iodide. So moles of sodium iodide cancel, and we get 33.3 grams of sodium iodide. Remember, when you plug this into your calculator, all numerators are multipliers, all denominators are divisors. So you should only hit the equal sign once on your calculator. So 28.2 divided by 253.8 times 2 times 149.89, rounding to 3 sig figs, what we're given here. Okay, let's do one more. How many grams of bromine are needed to react with 98.2 grams of sodium iodide? Okay, so let me go through this one a little more quickly. So we have 98.2 grams of sodium iodide. We'll be converting that to moles. One mole of sodium iodide has the mass of 149.89 grams. Grams of sodium iodide cancel. We're interested in bromine, so we need to convert to bromine. 1 mole of bromine per 2 moles of sodium iodide. Again, we're getting that from simply looking at the chemical equations. The chemical equation, 2 moles of sodium iodide needs 1 mole of bromine. And then to convert to mass, 1 mole of bromine has the mass of 159.80 grams. And that gives us 52.3 grams. Okay, there's the first 3. You're on your own now. Remember to check the answers. If you're not getting the answers that you're given here, you've made a mistake somewhere. Now, the most common mistake of all is having incorrect molar mass. So always double check that your molar mass is correct. If you're not getting the answer that you're told in the worksheet, then double check your molar mass, because that's more often than not the problem. Okay, that's it.